Hey everyone, it's Emily, the Fang girl. I wanted to do this video because I feel like I probably am not as personal as I am normally with people in real life than videos on YouTube. So I guess today was a good day to kind of just think about my journey in the past year or so in Singapore and reflect all that has happened within 1 year. So I just wanted to do a quick recap of everything. So back in early 2020, I quit my job at the startup company I was at in the Bay Area, specifically San Francisco. It was a really good paying job, and I just felt like I was on top of the world, and at the same time, I wasn't. I think I was just really burnt out and stressed and tired and so confused with my life because life had to be more than just working a startup job and making six figures and getting free swag, right? Like that's not what life was supposed to be. And I just felt like I was living in a small bubble and I was really unhappy. And so I would go on these like trips overseas. I would travel like every weekend to a new place or a new state and then just come back feeling emptier than ever. And I went to New Zealand with my friends and we went skydiving. So at that point I had just been so like numb and empty, and I was like willing to throw myself out of a plane because I just wanted to feel like something or anything. And I guess skydiving was a good idea because in the middle of it I realized like, hey, if I die right now I would just die unhappy and I probably have a lot of regrets, and that's not the way that I wanted to live my life. So when I was like skydiving and having a very difficult time breathing, by the way, because the wind is like just going at your face, and it was hard for me to suck in air. So I was like, oh, I actually might die because I can't breathe. I thought that if I make it down safely, then I was going to make my way to Asia. And that's what really kind of started this whole thing. But I think the whole concept of just being courageous and not being so afraid of everything, it really came from that moment. And I mean, honestly, I think a lot of people ask me like, oh, you're so brave, or how did you do it? Like, how do you get over your fear of stepping into the unknown? But I would generally say that it is like a muscle, right? Like taking risk is like a muscle. It's something that has to be exercised through small things, right? Like I don't think one day you're just gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna, talk in front of 100 people and, it's all gonna be great. No, it's doing small things over time that make you confident in ways that you can take risk. And it could be, talking to a random stranger, asking them for directions, or asking, a person online for a date, or just doing things that has a possibility of a no or a failure, but you do it anyways because you'd rather want to know the answer than not knowing at all, right? I hope that's wise advice. I don't know. But that's the philosophy that I grew up with, I guess. Because my father was a pretty big risk taker. He took the family from Taiwan to Los Angeles, and we grew up there. And we grew up as very like individualistic, independent people. But we had very strong family ties as well. So I guess that's where my mentality came from. Just wanting to try new things, wanting to experience the world and not be afraid. And I mean, of course I'm afraid. I'm afraid all the time. I feel like I'm afraid that I'm not on the right path of success. I'm not, making six figures anymore or working for a highly accredited tech company, a Fang company. But I think it boils down to the point of my happiness. Like, am I happy? Am I present? Do I have time for my family and friends? Am I doing things that I really want to do? Am I pursuing the things that make me excited about life? I just don't want to go to that place again where I just didn't appreciate life, And that's the saddest thing. Like, there are people like that. Like, they just work, and they don't have time for friends or family. And once they've made it to the pinnacle of success, they're not happy and they don't have anyone to share it with, right? I don't know, I just feel like life is just all about balance, and I've been struggling with that for a long time because I feel that I've been primarily focused on a lot of my side projects and work, but since I came to Singapore, I've felt this calling to have more balance and to really think deeply about what are the things that I want to be, or what are the things that I want to do in 5 to 10 years, and what would make me happy. Obviously, it's not that easy, of course, right? There's so many different facets of life pulling me apart, like my family, my health, money, and my pursuit of happiness. So really it is all about balance, and I just felt like I wanted to create this video to kind of give you guys insight about who I am as a person and why I'm doing this YouTube channel. I think it's more like therapy for me to talk to a camera and kind of talk about my feelings in a way that I can share my learnings and the hardships I go through YouTube, which is funny because maybe I haven't been as vulnerable as I've tried to been through my videos, but I hope this video kind of gives more insight about who I am as a person, and I'm not just some like party happy person all the time, because I think video can be perceived very differently. So I guess after a whole year of reflection being here in Singapore, it really has just boiled down to like doing things that make me happier and challenged, and I feel that I always want to be learning something new. And I guess that's really why I came to Singapore. That's why I took that risk, to explore a different area. After a whole year of reflection, I've kind of boiled down this path for myself, which will be from now until October, which I believe October is the deadline I'm setting myself to go back, because I miss my family and I want to be closer with them, and I can't travel during COVID anyways, so the whole idea of doing a gap year during travel has diminished to like nothing. So I thought, why don't I give myself some time from now until October to figure out what it is I want in my life, which is I like creating content. I like doing podcasts and talking to people and creating videos. So maybe this is, a project or a passion project that I'll explore. And then I would most likely go back, in October to be with my friends and family. I miss them so much. I really miss them, my tribe, and I want to just go back for the holidays from October to December, and then 2022, hopefully I'll be back in Southeast Asia or Asia in general, and I'll be on my way. But that's kind of just my whole year in a recap, and I feel like I've been pushed outwardly, if that makes sense. Like I was looking at the old videos that I've created, and I think I've just become more confident in my speaking capabilities. I talk more loudly. I am just taking up more space and putting myself out there more. And then number 2 is I've been trying to go deeper into things, so not being so shallow or so superficial when it comes to talking about, certain layers of topics or discussions that I have. I want to go deeper. I want to go deeper in relationships, deeper in my work, deeper, in knowledge and education. So that as well. And then thirdly is I love my individualistic tendencies. I love being independent. I love that I can go off and do all these things and that I don't have to rely on anyone else. I love that about myself. And to be frank, I think that's how I survived. Like that's really something that I grew up with when I was a kid, and I just had to naturally become someone who, paid for school herself and found all the jobs and internships herself, obviously with the help of my community, but that is a huge core part of me. But I think one thing that I'm actually unlearning here in Asia as well is being more community driven and more caring and more empathetic, and letting myself know that I can lean on people when I need it, right? So it's not that I always have to be strong for myself and for other people, but I can still be independent, but I can also lean on people and let other people lean on me as well. Yeah, I don't know why that made me like kind of emotional. Yeah, I think this year also taught me that being alone and being lonely are two very significant different things. Being alone is you don't have anyone around you and you're comfortable, like you're fine being by yourself. And that's something I really had to learn last year as well. Like, what does it mean to sit with my own thoughts? And what does it mean to like love myself? Because I actually realized the only person that has been so like hard on me is myself. I'm just very hard on myself, and I haven't given myself like the time and the headspace to like think what it is that I really want, and I realized I have to be a lot kinder to myself too, because this isn't the way that I would treat my friend, if that makes sense. And then the sense of feeling lonely can happen when you're still with a lot of people, or when you're still around a lot of people, because I've met incredible people here in Singapore, and everyone is so amazing and smart, but there is a sense of loneliness. Like, it's not the same back at home. Like, the people who just get me, my being around family, like there's such a profound difference of what it is to be lonely. And I really felt that here in Singapore, but it was something that I had to also like grow out of and learn how to be okay being by myself. And when I feel those feelings of being lonely, then I would reach out to other people and talk to them and call people back at home. And it made me realize like how important it was to solidify relationships with people that I love and that I truly care about, because like, don't get me wrong, I love making new friends, but it's just that sometimes you get spread thin, right? So I think what I'm trying to say is like, be really intentional with people, like it's good to have different groups of friends, but it's also great to have friends that, will always be there for you. Like if you, like, I know that if I ever had to like get an abortion, I have friends who would help me go through that. Or if I went through a breakup, I would have friends who would help me go through that. Or, if I was just devastated by something, I have friends who would be there for me. So that's kind of like the other reflection as well. And I just feel like this entire video is me rambling about feelings and emotions, but yeah, I guess these are all the things that I've been wanting to journal out, but I just haven't had the time. So I guess forward-looking thoughts for 2021 is I just want to figure out more about myself and like where I'm going. Like, what the hell am I doing here? It's just like an ongoing process, like a journey for me to understand myself and the way that I'm formatting my decisions. But I think I just need to enjoy the journey as well. Like, I'm so lucky to be here in Singapore, to be honest. Like, I should be more grateful about it. And I think my time here is coming to an end, at least, in a couple of months or so. I'm not sure, but we'll see, right? Like, we'll see. I hope to, like, figure out a way to be able to come back to Asia or bridge Southeast Asia relationships with the US, or at least the Bay Area of Silicon Valley. But right now, that's kind of my thoughts. I'm gonna stay in Singapore until the holidays come around, and I'll stay in the Bay Area for the holidays, and then 2022 hopefully I'll be traveling or doing my gap year finally, and yeah, we'll kind of see what happens. thanks for listening to me ramble on and on and on and on. Bye, everyone.